Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day to everyone out there. Today's executive communication webinar, we're going to focus on intercultural competence. So I'm excited to share that with you. And before we jump in, I want to share a little bit about my background so that you know a little bit about me. You might have found me from our YouTube channels, Explearning Communication, Advanced English for Executives, and those podcasts as well. And I am an executive communication coach. I have been doing this for nearly 2 decades now, and I'm here to help professionals master high stakes, high impact communication, empowering you with executive presence, building your confidence, building your social fluency so that you can communicate across multiple settings at work and in life in general for successful outcomes. I have 2 decades in education, in cross-cultural communication, corporate, international communications, TV, broadcasting, and ed tech. I've got 2 master's degrees, one from Bachelor University and the other from Columbia University, and that's an advanced master's. And I have a Fulbright grant that brought me originally overseas in a professional capacity, and that's where my love of including, cross-cultural and intercultural communication into my programs, into my practice, into my executive coaching practice also came through. And I am a global teacher trainer. I teach and train teachers as well as coaches. So empowering them to go out there and make a positive impact on the world as well. We also have Explearning Academy, in which I am the founder and lead instructor, and this is a professional development platform for anyone who's looking to improve their executive communication, polish their professional presence, boost their social fluency, boost their confidence, and their interpersonal skills as well. It is a community of practice, so you are with me and other expert communication coaches, as well as with other professionals and international professionals, and people who are there to boost their confidence and their communication. And it's also a great place to make friends and to network and to have a great time. We're here to help you learn strategies and practical tools that you can actually use as soon as your next your interaction essentially. And our mission is to help you become more effective as a communicator in your career, and also to drive maximum personal impact as well. And as you know, positive effective communication not only helps you boost confidence, get better careers and promotions, and level up in your careers, and also deeper in social connections as well. Methodology and approach, we use data-driven, data-backed communication strategies that are super relevant to you and to your life and to your work. Hands-on learning with interactive exercises and practice and role play and scenarios and simulations so that you can practice those high-risk, high-stakes communication events and speech acts, and that will prepare you super well for the real thing in the real world. Personalized coaching and feedback, so you get tailored feedback, both synchronous and asynchronous. And we also have a collaborative growth environment, so you also get to meet people from different parts of the US and of the world, and we have a community of practice, which is amazing. And we also have amazing programs, so these are transformative, they are results focused. You get the results that you are seeking and that you are searching for. There are various lengths. We've got 5-day programs, 10-day programs. We've got web courses. We've got 33-day master classes and challenges. That's one of our most popular ones, actually. It's an executive excellence masterclass, and it's 33 modules, so you can do it in one go. You can do it over a couple of months, and you have lifetime access to that, as well as all of our programs. So these are all designed to help you measure your progress, track your progress, see and get real results, and help you boost your leadership communication as well as your social fluency. So what I'm going to share with you today, I'm going to have you learn some tools and strategies to help you elevate your communication skills, sharing practical insights to help you build your confidence in your social fluency and your business communication, and also techniques to help you enhance your personal and professional communication growth. All right, so if you're ready for today's class, then I encourage you to grab a beverage, maybe, silence your devices so you can fully participate and feel confident doing so and distraction free. And let's jump right in. Okie dokes. So, like I said, we're going to be talking about intercultural competence. So I want to welcome you to our webinar where we're going to, navigate and learn maybe a little bit more about respecting cultural differences in global business, which is super important. Over the next 30 or so minutes, we're going to cover key concepts and practical strategies so that you can succeed in diverse work environments. Okay, so what is intercultural competence? Essentially, it's the ability to effectively communicate and effectively interact with people from all over the world who might be from, different cultural backgrounds, might not speak the same L1 native English language as you, or they may, but they might have different fields of experience. They might have grown up outside of your familiar context. So it helps us understand cultures and the ability to communicate with people from all over the world, regardless of where they grew up, what languages they know, what was their first language, where else they've traveled, where else they've worked. And so it involves really respecting cultural values and beliefs and worldviews and practices, and understanding that these can really vary significantly across cultures and across subcultures. It also means, adapting your communication style and being sensitive to cultural nuances, of which there are many, and listening actively to, understand different perspectives as well. So all of this encompasses intercultural communication. So it's so important in the global business world and setting, right? Because it enables effective communication, it enables collaboration and negotiation across diverse cultural backgrounds. And understanding, different cultural perspectives also helps companies and organizations build stronger relationships with international partners and international clients and do business not just in their home country, but abroad, which is amazing, especially in today's globalized society where we have tech-enabled communication. We can reach people from all corners of the world. It's really a truly remarkable thing, right? And it's only going to continue and get even more so as more and more of the world becomes accessible. And so, yeah, like I said, really thinking about how intercultural communication kind of gives you an edge, right, over your competitors, and enhances an organization's competitiveness and ability to expand its market reach worldwide, which I think many companies, many businesses want to be able to do. So you can think of developing intercultural competence as a key strategic advantage in the globalized business world, which is why it is so important to be able to not only be aware of this skill, but master this communication nuance as well. So let's talk about cultural dimensions, right? They provide a framework for understanding the values, the beliefs, the behaviors that essentially shape a culture. And, if you think about it, it can help you navigate cultural differences more effectively. So we've got cultural dimensions that include power distance, individualism versus collectivism. So a collectivistic society versus an individualistic society, masculinity versus femininity, uncertainty avoidance, and then we've got long-term versus short-term orientation. And so all of these dimensions can actually help us better understand how various cultures differ in their approaches to things like hierarchy, individual versus group priorities, gender roles, gender dynamics, tolerance for ambiguity, and even things like time orientation, how you treat the passage of time, which is really important if you think about scheduling and being on time for things and coming together with colleagues, and whether you show up late or on time or early, right? So understanding these cultural dimensions is so very key to working effectively across and between cultures and being able to build strong and long-lasting intercultural relationships. Okay, so effective communication, as we know, is crucial for building strong relationships and also achieving business goals. However, communicating across cultures requires an additional step, let's say, right? Requiring understanding nuances and nonverbal cues and cultural norms that, you might not have been as aware of prior to those kinds of contexts. And really, thinking about misunderstandings as a potential threat, essentially, right? Which can occur without careful consideration. So really making an effort to minimize the instances or potential opportunity for any misalignment or any misunderstandings, which can lead to conflict, which we don't want. So let's explore the 4 key principles for communicating effectively across cultures. The first being active listening, so paying attention and paying close attention to verbal and to nonverbal cues from your audience, from your interlocutors, from the people you're interacting and engaging with, because this is going to help you really better understand their perspective and then respond appropriately. Of course, clear and concise language, very important to avoid jargon and complex sentences and trying to impress people with vocabulary that you maybe haven't really mastered yourself. Maybe you learned a new word and it sounds really good, but you're using it in the incorrect context. Ugh, a little bit cringe, right? So be mindful of that, and don't try to impress people with being verbose or using technical language or jargon or overly complicated syntax or run-on sentences. Just try to use simple, straightforward language that's easy to understand. That's going to impress far more people than if you were to use flowery, florid language, okay? Cultural sensitivity, right? Really being mindful of respecting different communication styles and preferences and being flexible in your approach and adapting your communication and approach to align with the cultural norms and societal expectations of your audience. That's going to help the message resonate much better. And then feedback and clarification. So always find opportunities, seek out opportunities to, seek understanding and feedback from your audience. Get their input whenever you can, however often you can. And the one thing else I'll say about that is, don't be afraid to ask questions, right? And resolve any ambiguity. If you have any inkling of uncertainty or doubt in your mind about something, ask for clarification. This is so much better than just blowing through it, blowing it over, and then saying, oh, why didn't I ask them that? Now I have a question about it. Now it's a big, question mark in my mind. So don't forget. How do we avoid cultural faux pas? Well, it starts with understanding, local customs and etiquette. So doing your research, right? Maybe learning a little bit about a thing or two about greetings and dining practices and acceptable nonverbal communication, acceptable behavior before you're engaging with a new culture. You'll have some sort of understanding if you do this, as opposed to just going into a situation cold, never having communicated with anybody from that culture before or from that, linguistic background. So don't advise doing that. Rather, research the etiquette, okay? The thing is, language barriers. That can be a significant challenge. So be really mindful of maybe slowing it down if you need, being, mindful of using simple and clear language and also avoiding slang or jargon. You might even consider using a translator or an interpreter whenever necessary so that you can help ensure effective communication, right? And then thinking about, how cultural norms can really vary significantly. So please be respectful and mindful of things like religious beliefs and spiritual faiths and dress codes and personal space boundaries and, proxemics. And, avoid assuming your own cultural perspective is the only valid one. because that's just not the case, right? So really being open-minded, being flexible to change your mind, and respect always. And lastly, approaching new cultural experiences with humility. And again, an open mindset. Be willing to adapt and learn from people and situations, and also be aware that there's going to be a lot that's unfamiliar to you, and being okay with that uncertainty. Because this flexibility and adaptability are actually key to navigating cultural differences successfully. Okay, so organizations should certainly establish diversity and inclusion policies that promote things like respect and fairness and equal opportunities for all employees, as we know, right? And these types of policies essentially should include non-discrimination practices, respectful communication guidelines, and also training programs on cultural sensitivity, because sometimes it's not that somebody has ill intent, it's just that they don't know. It's simply essentially ignorance, right? And we want to be aware of that, potentially as HR or an employer, or somebody running a company, or even a team leader or a manager. So very important. And it's always important to create an open and safe space, lots of psychological safety, for employees to discuss cultural differences and share their perspectives and share their worldviews and share their insights. And this actually can be done really well through regular team meetings, give a lot of touch points to people, workshops and discussions, training sessions, mentoring programs. And those mentoring programs don't even have to be fully fledged and formal. They can be more informal and casual, where your boss sets you up with a mentor and somebody, a work buddy, essentially. So this is really important for open dialogue to foster understanding and empathy, and also a sense of belonging among people at that company, and especially those from diverse cultural backgrounds, so they feel that that they belong as well, because sometimes it's not always evident. And what about bridging cultural gaps, right? Effective teamwork requires building cultural gaps, right? And understanding diverse perspectives. So, of course, active listening, always key, right? You want to pay attention to nonverbal cues and cultural nuances, and be super open to feedback and amenable to feedback, and treat it as something constructive as opposed to destructive. And really thinking about using clear and simple communication, again, avoiding jargon, avoiding technical terminology that very few people know and understand. Be mindful of cultural differences in communication styles and the level of directness. Some people are more indirect, some people are more direct. So where do you lie? Who are you communicating with? How are they going to resonate with that message if you are direct or if you are indirect? Okay? Of course. And then respectful dialogue, right? Really, really being mindful of preconceived notions that you might have, avoiding assumptions, avoiding stereotypes, right? Acknowledging diverse viewpoints, and also being culturally sensitive. So adapting your approach to different, styles in decision making and time management and conflict resolution, because everybody has a slightly different way of doing that in general. And then, of course, you add that extra layer of cultural differences, and that's also going to be slightly different. So being aware of that. So in today's global business landscape, leaders really have to be able to adapt their styles to effectively manage and motivate diverse multicultural teams. And so how do we do that? Well, developing empathy and understanding of cultural differences is absolutely crucial, because this helps leaders communicate more effectively and also make better decisions that resonate across the team, okay? And then, of course, having an inclusive approach where all voices are heard and everyone feels values and valued. People are going to be more productive and happy, and it's going to boost overall morale, right? And that creates a culture of respect, and it empowers team members from diverse backgrounds to really contribute fully. And that's what we want. We want everyone's voice to be heard and everybody to be valued and feel like their contributions are being valued. Of course, as a leader, flexibility and adaptability are key, right? We as leaders need to adjust our leadership styles and our communication styles to suit the cultural nuances of each team member. Because again, we're going to have, especially in globalized teams, we're going to have different cultural backgrounds. People are going to have different ways of doing things, of communicating, of being receptive to messages, and really, working towards understanding those differences. And then building trust and building rapport and creating these strong relationships with team members from diverse backgrounds is essential because it lays the foundation for effective collaboration and for high performance. And again, that's what we want. Productive employees are happy employees. Productive leaders are happy leaders, right? Everybody wins, and it's a wonderful feeling. So cultural context, okay, is absolutely key when navigating and negotiating with international partners. So you want to be mindful of things like local norms, of etiquette, of the social and cultural overtone, and the communication styles. So building trust and rapport is so essential. To do this, you want to show genuine interest, practice active listening, have a curious, kind mindset, inquisitive. Focus on developing long-term relationships as opposed to thinking, okay, I'm just going to do business with this company on this one thing and then we're never going to see them again. If you take that approach, then it's not going to be as fruitful as it can be, right? It's not going to give you the best outcome that you're looking for. Whereas if you look at it as an investment and over time you're going to do more business with them, repeat business, and really develop and nurture this working relationship, it's going to be so much better. You're going to have so many better opportunities as well for future and current business. And also remain flexible and open-minded. Right? Be prepared to adapt your negotiation strategies based on the cultural context and also the different perspectives that everyone brings to the table. So I really emphasize the importance of adapting your approach. Flexible and adaptable communication, they're both key, right? Because they're going to help you ensure successful negotiations and partnerships across cultures, which again is what we want. So embracing diversity and inclusion is great because, creating a welcoming and inclusive workplace is so important to empower, essentially, diverse perspectives and experiences. So among that, respectful workplace, very important. It also promotes that positive work culture as well, which, again, if we have a good work culture, we have better morale, improved morale, more productivity, everyone's happy. Essentially, the company thrives even more when people are happy and they're doing well and you're showing up. So open communication and active listening also help us understand each other better. It helps us build stronger relationships. It helps us create rapport, ensuring that everyone's on the same page and getting along, really, right? Collaborating, being a team. And then celebrating our cultural differences. Oh, before we talk about that, let's talk about ensuring equal opportunities, right? So regardless of background, regardless of your cultural, multiculturalness or your L1 or what languages you speak or how many countries you've lived in or where you work now, regardless of all that, it's making sure everyone has equal opportunities is key to fostering a fair and equitable workplace. So we really, as leaders, we want to be mindful of that and make sure that that is the case. And then celebrating differences, of course, right? When we embrace things like diversity and inclusion, we actually end up unlocking the full potential of our teams and driving innovation, impact, and success. Okay? So we don't want to just learn something once and stop there, right? The approach is continuous learning and also self-afflection. So the key here is that being interculturally competent is not a one and done situation. It's actually an ongoing journey. It's not something that you achieve and then bam, you're done with that. It actually requires an open mindset, a willingness to change your own biases and preconceived notions, and it's a constant drive to learn and improve. And also, just because you know one culture really well doesn't mean you know all the other cultures out there really well. So that's another way that it's actually ongoing as a journey. So what's great here is that, really thinking about regularly reflecting on your cross-cultural interactions, what went well, what could have been better, what you learned is crucial, because this self-reflection helps you identify areas for growth and also shows what you're really doing well and maybe what you've even mastered as an interculturally competent communicator. So I really encourage you to actively seek out opportunities to learn more about different cultures, whether it's through books, pop culture, movies, courses, events, networking events, just going to international fairs, even doing business cross-culturally in a more like low stakes environment. This is all going to help you deepen your understanding. And then lastly, stepping outside of your comfort zone, because that's going to help you engage with people from diverse backgrounds. And it really is one of the best ways to expand your own worldview and build meaningful connections with people. So let's talk about some practical tips for developing your own intercultural confidence, because as we know, and competence. As we know, it's effective. It's crucial for effective communication and understanding in diverse teams and organizations. So something to be really aware of. So the first thing is be open, right, to learning about different cultures and showing not a feigned but a genuine curiosity, because this is going to help you build trust and rapport and really, understand these different cultures better. Active listening, of course, it always pops up because it's so essential and integral to effective communication. Really paying attention to not just what's being said, but how it's being said, nonverbal cues, cultural nuances, because this is really important to help you understand, other people's perspectives and worldviews. And then practicing empathy. Put yourself in the other person's shoes and avoid biases and preconceived notions and assumptions that you might have and stereotypes that you may have heard, because that's just gonna, taint the conversation. But instead, when you practice empathy, you're gonna have a more inclusive and productive interaction, and you're gonna expand your mind, you're gonna expand your worldview, and that's really just an amazing thing. And then seek feedback regularly from colleagues with diverse backgrounds and reflect on, their observations, because this is going to shed so much light on their worldview, on their fields of experience, on maybe things that you have in common, on overlapping interests and ways of understanding. And this is going to help you continuously improve your intercultural skills. Again, it's an ongoing journey and process. So this feedback is really important, and it's a two-way street. So you give and you take, and you do it in a kind and respectful way. So that's a little bit about that. If you want some more information about how you can become a more interculturally competent communicator at work and in life in general, then I really encourage you to take our communication masterclass. It is focused on the Delheim speaking model framework. It is a communication masterclass to help you understand all of the components of essentially communication. And we go through the whole framework with lots of examples. And this is a 5 out of 5 rating from one of our members. They really liked all of the digestible content and the quizzes and interactive. And it's very well structured, and he gives it 5 out of 5 stars. What you get in the masterclass is, 13 different modules where you have, the course, and you've got then the follow-up quiz. So hands-on exercises, we've got real-world scenarios, and you get a lot of information there that you can easily implement in your everyday work environment and personal, social environment. You also get personalized feedback. So when you submit your work, you get our expert communication coaches will actually provide personalized feedback so that you have that extra dimension to your understanding. We've got interactive workshops so that you can actually practice the speaking model in action through your social pods and through various events that we hold, live events and networking and things like that. And then the ability to apply the model and share your wins in our community of practice. So you can go on quests individually or with people in our community, and work on a quest together, submit it for feedback, and also share your wins in our community of practice. We've got great worksheets as well to help solidify your learning, and access to the community of practice where you get to make friends and network with people. And it's just really a wonderful, wonderful place. So you will have access to this entire program through your subscription, your monthly subscription, through the Explearning Academy self-study program. You can learn more about it through this website here, which is academy.explearning.co. And you can also scan this QR code so that you can download the app and get more information about that. You can learn about what our current and past members have to say about our wonderful community and professional development platform. And this is just a phenomenal opportunity. And in the words of one of our members, it is, let me go this one. Best investment, you won't regret it. So it is an investment, which is great because, you are one of the best things to invest in, right? And your future self will absolutely thank you. Just some of other things that you'll get in addition to the Delheim Speaking Model web course masterclass, you'll also get all the new challenges and web courses that we put out. We have several, and we're still filling that up with more and more information and more challenges for you every month. We've got live classes and webinars and new lessons. We've got interactive chats so you can chat with our members, and also have video call meetups. Meet up in your interest groups like our book club, for example. Have fun, making friends, and also networking, because it is a professional development platform. So who knows, you might meet your next business partner or your next best friend or your next, boss. Who knows, right? It's just an amazing thing. The sky's the limit. So best investment, you won't regret it. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that you take these intercultural communication strategies and practice them. And maybe I'll even see you in our community. So thank you again, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now.